Thank you both so much for your time today. What a great show you put together. I could not get enough, binged it in a couple of days, which I never.
Good.
But such amazing work. And I'd like to start by getting to know, it's a two-part question.
Yeah.
Thomas, what inspired the creation of this? And then Jennifer, what inspired you to come on and help bring it to television?
Great. Yeah. So inspiration came from a couple of different places. As you could probably tell, it's a couple of different genres mixed together. But it started with my love of spy novels, specifically Jean Le Carré, the great Cold War paranoia stuff he used to do that has this classic timeless feel. And then I actually had a laptop that was hacked. And I was just sitting there thinking, okay, if I'm right now, I'm scared of my phone or my webcam being hacked. What's next? What's 5 minutes in the future? And I started thinking, oh, the next thing that would be worse is my eyes and ears being hacked. And then I asked myself, who would be the worst person to have their eyes and ears hacked? And I started thinking about this image came into my mind of this low-level analyst who unwittingly is looking at top secret documents. And that's where the Jean Le Carré came in. And then the final aspect is I realized, oh, if you're playing along with the hack, you're creating a Truman Show world, which is one of my favorite movies. You're creating a world where you don't know what's real or not, what's fake and what's not. And when you're kind of like the fake and the real is intertwining and changing. And he's trying to figure out who can I trust, and which is really asking the question of like, who am I and how far will I go? And so we had written a couple of the scripts, and then as we looked like we were about to get put into production, real is when Jen came on and was helpful as far as like us accelerating the project.
And I was aware of the project when it was still in development through Atomic Monster. And so, when they came to me, I jumped at the chance to be part of it because the scripts, even from the beginning, had so much that was relatable to so many people, but especially for me being first generation American, that there was something that really resonated with me. It also is an underdog story that we all can relate to, especially right now. And just this idea of, the hopefulness that this show it could be and would be was also something that I couldn't deny wanting to be part of.
Makes total sense. And that's actually, you bring up something I definitely want to talk about today. This is a much more hopeful spy thriller than a lot of the genre. It really, because they're always so, and dark, understandably, but very much, focused on the mission, focused on getting the bad guy down. But there's a sense of hope here. There's a sense of morality to it. You could kind of both talk about the decision to create a more hopeful spy film.
Thank you for picking up on that, because that's one of the things we really talk about was that the spy genre can be very cynical, right? You wind up doing things that are bad in the course of beating the bad guys, and then at the end of it, it's always like, are we the good guys or the bad guys?
Yeah.
And this kind of was really informed my desire to think about, man, I really hope that if there is any sort of like deep state, which was like we had a president who was railing against it and still is, that is like, man, I hope if there is something that it's people like this, that they are like long-term career bureaucrats who have this weary sense of idealism, that they got into this because they thought they could make the world a better place. And what they're really doing is they're chasing that dream of America. The thing we think of as America that we're always like, we're almost there. We almost could be this thing that we've never quite been. And so that was really at the heart of it. And Alexander as a character fit into that because he is someone who at the very beginning, we understand he is going to follow his conscience above an order. And that's a failing in this world. And so to kind of put him in this place called the orphanage where all these different orphans have been collected, and you kind of see that sense of weary idealism driving them, it kind of made it feel different than a lot of spy shows that were out there. And it also made it feel like this is us facing a world that is full of a lot of uncertainty and a lot of like questionable choices. And then instead of just pretending like the government is over here and we're different, or the CIA is different than us, like really, it's all people. Right? There's no organization that's not just a bunch of people, and every single day, every single one of those people is making decisions for their conscience or for their country. And like we're watching that play out in real time right now. And so watching it tell the individual human stories is the thing that I think made it more hopeful for us.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Jennifer? Does that pretty much cover it?
I mean, I think that also added to that is having the character be first generation. And, my mom came from the Philippines and she loves America, knows more about American history than I do because she studied it as an adult to be able to take the test and there's a pride there that I think is universal for all of us. And we are part of a pretty great country. And there's just something that even in that idea that resonated with that main character and his relationship to his family and how proud they are that not only is he, you know, working or that he is an American, but also that he was a serviceman and that he was willing to fight for this country and just the pride that they have in him. It just was something that I think, again, just lent itself to not being, you know, spies in the shadows. It really is a story about hopefulness and what we could make this country into.
I love that. That is a great way to put that on both ends. That's so wonderful that it really is about we can be better.
Yeah.
And boy, we need that message right now for sure. Well, that is all the time we have right now. Thank you both so much for your amazing insights. Such a pleasure to talk.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.